22nd November. SmackDown, hits and misses. Delta Center, Salt Lake City, played the host for this week's edition of SmackDown. There were plenty of surprises for the fans as the show's ending was blockbuster, to say the least. The Women's United States Championship tournament continued, while Kevin Owens finally showed up to confront Cody Rhodes. This was just the beginning, as the wise man Paul Heyman returned along with the fifth member of the OG bloodline. Join us now as we look at the hits and misses for this week's episode of the Blue Brand. Hits.
Blair got the knees up.
And now Chelsea Green with a drop kick lands right on Davenport.
Chelsea Green finally gets her due. Ever since Chelsea Green debuted on WWE's main roster, fans have been clamoring for a push for the Canadian wrestler. However, the Stamford-based promotion has been reluctant to allow Green to shine, particularly as a singles competitor. It seems the advent of the Women's United States Championship couldn't have come at a better time for the former TNA star. Green managed to beat the Kiwi sensation Blair Davenport and a distracted Bianca Belair to punch her ticket for the next round of the US title tournament, wherein she'll go against the veteran Bayley. One doesn't need to go further than the massive support that Green garnered from Salt Lake City's crowd to know that she is super over with the audience. It remains to be seen whether she can go all the way and become the first ever women's US champion. One thing's for certain, fans wouldn't complain if she did the unthinkable. Shinsuke Nakamura's mind games are back. Last week, Shinsuke Nakamura shocked the wrestling world by returning and attacking the US champion LA Knight. The Japanese veteran performer initiated his trademark mind games against his would-be adversary this Friday night. Even before Knight could start his US title defense against Santos Escobar, Nakamura appeared on the screen with a sinister message for the fan-favorite wrestler. The king of strong style is known to get into the psyche of his rivals, breaking them mentally, enabling him to pick up the pieces in the squared circle. Although Nakamura's last few rivalries have seen him become cannon fodder after masterful mind games, let's hope it'll be different this time, with Knight as his opponent. Fiery verbal battle between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Cody Rhodes has not been his usual smiling self for the past few weeks. The reason? A certain Canadian who has made his life a living hell. This week, the American Nightmare headed to the ring and called out Kevin Owens. The prizefighter immediately answered the call and engaged in a verbal venom spew contest with the WWE champion. Owens highlighted how he spent the past 4 years of his WWE career fighting off the bloodline, specifically Roman Reigns. He blasted Rhodes for going ahead and teaming up with the original tribal chief. The former AEW EVP hit back at the heel wrestler by questioning his hateful nature, adding that Owens hated no one else more than himself and confronted him for putting his friend Randy Orton on the shelf. While the exact date of a showdown between the two fierce rivals is not yet certain, if the verbal battle between Rhodes and Owens is anything to go by, the fans can expect a slobber knocker whenever they collide. Rhea Ripley is fired up. Although the Women's Survivor Series War Games cast looks hastily assembled, the addition of Rhea Ripley to the mix has made things quite intense. It looked like the heel team would reign supreme on the latest edition of SmackDown over their babyface counterparts. That was until the Eradicator stormed down to the ring, sending the villainous group into a frenzy and running for cover. The women's iteration more than makes up for the lack of a logical storyline behind this collision, with the mouth-watering firepower in both teams. Let's see which ensemble prevails in this star-studded affair next Saturday. Montes Ford needs a singles run. Montes Ford came against the tough Tommaso Ciampa this Friday, and his strong showing in a rare one-on-one match again emphasized the fact that he is as talented a singles performer as anyone on the main roster. Although the Street Profits member is an accomplished tag team wrestler, a section of fans have always strived for him to pursue single glory. 2023's Elimination Chamber match for the United States Championship also saw Ford impress with his wide array of maneuvers, leading many to believe that a singles run was just around the corner. However, he continued to team up with Angelo Dawkins. While it seems unlikely that Ford might be switching to one-on-one competitions anytime soon, it could definitely be the way forward for WWE. The wise man pulls the strings and arranges fifth member for the OG bloodline. The bloodline drama reiterated in this week's edition of the Blue Brand why it is compared to cinema. Not only did the wise man, Paul Heyman, return to WWE programming after a long time, but he also came up with the fifth member for the OG bloodline in the upcoming War Games match. The Delta Center crowd went into pandemonium when Heyman revealed that the last piece of the puzzle was none other than the Second City Saint, CM Punk. The Chicago native came ready for a fight as the OG bloodline and the new version engaged in an all-out brawl. While other players lay in a heap at the ringside, Roman Reigns and Punk shared a stare down in the middle of the ring as Heyman stood on the apron with his usual wry smile. This was not the end, as Punk and the OTC delivered a GTS and a spear to both the Tongan brothers in perfect synchronization. Fans can't wait to see both iterations of the Bloodline Lockhorns next Saturday. Undoubtedly, the shock edition of the Best in the World has tilted the balance in favor of the OG bloodline. Misses. Can WWE do away with every superstar being attacked and sent in an ambulance? The recent past has seen many high-profile names on the WWE roster being attacked in the backstage area and carried out in an ambulance. Randy Orton being taken to a nearby medical facility felt justified because of the unhinged nature of the storyline he is involved in. However, the point of putting Rhea Ripley on the shelf has yet to be discovered, especially as she returned to action in 2 weeks. If even that is left aside, Jade Cargill being attacked in the backstage area in this week's edition of the Blue Brand felt needless as the Women's War Games match was building up nicely. With only a week left for the Survivor Series PLE, it would make no sense if Cargill mounts a miraculous comeback to WWE programming. Moreover, such injury angles should be reserved for a storyline that warrants it. Let's hope the wrestling juggernaut plays Cargill's supposed injury better than similar previous instances. The latest episode of SmackDown was among its finest in recent times. Storylines progressed seamlessly and fans were given massive payoffs, making the 22nd November edition of the Blue Brand a must-watch. Let's see what WWE has planned for the go-home show before Survivor Series War Games PLE.